We may never know exactly why the Dallas shooter did what he did. We just have snippets of what his moment was, and they hint at his anger at the killing of black men by police. And while no sane person can relate to what he did, the underlying anger is something every black person in America understands and feels, and has spent the last 72 hours feeling, as you watch black body after black body lying on the ground, covered in blood in Ferguson, or shot down in a Walmart in Ohio, or killed as police jump out of a car while a child is playing with a toy gun in Cleveland, or choked to death in Staten Island, or tossed into the back of a van like trash in Baltimore, or dead amid scattered CDs he was selling in Baton Rouge, or covered in blood in the passenger seat of his girlfriend's car in Minnesota. Seeing that year after year, decade after decade in your community and your country is bad enough. In recent years, you also get to consume it on your social media, on your phone, on your Twitter feed, on Facebook. And over the past week, Black Americans have added learn how to use Facebook Live to their ever-growing list of strategies, not to make sure you survive a traffic stop, but just to ensure that your death will be documented correctly. A list that now includes make sure your loved ones can close your Facebook page so it can't be mined for quotes that the media will use to paint you as a menace. And have good, attractive pictures of you and your loved ones posted and available to combat the inevitable attempt to paint you as a thug who deserved to die. Be ready to record the entire encounter with police on your phone and know how to update it somewhere quickly. Those methods have to now be learned and paired with the classics like don't move, be exceedingly polite, follow instructions so that hopefully they won't kill you. And above all, understand that sometimes, as in the case of Philando Castile, even doing all three won't keep you alive. And then at the same time, police have also been victimized in the last 24 hours. 5 officers murdered last night, innocent lives taken for no good reason. You have to wonder, how do police officers, some of whom have their own psychological baggage, maybe fear of black people or distrust or alienation from the communities they serve, police a community that fears and distrusts them? How do you go about conducting that next traffic stop with that fear in your head and in your heart, armed with the knowledge that the person in that car is likely just as terrified and maybe even angry at you? What is it like? What is it going to be like on either end of that job, especially in the wake of the shooting in Dallas? All of this is hard enough for adults to reconcile. But what about kids? What happens to the psychological makeup of that 15-year-old boy crying for his daddy live on TV? The children of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile and Sergeant Michael Smith. These kids have been irrevocably derailed and now face a lifetime of trauma, a lifetime of fear, a lifetime of emotional damage that does not go away. How do they recover from that? How do any of us? I want to read something tonight that I read on redstate.com. This is from Leon Wolf, conservative writer. Quote, people's willingness to act rationally and within the confines of the law and the political system is, generally speaking, directly proportional to their belief that the law and political system will ever punish wrongdoing. And right now, that belief is largely broken, especially in many minority communities. And it's the blind, uncritical belief that the police never, or only in freak circumstances, do anything wrong that is a major contributing factor to that. If you grow up consuming that and living that reality year after year and imbibing a paralyzing fear of police, and you chase that with a sense of total futility, as each of these killings result in no explanation, no prosecution, no consequences for the officer, no matter what the circumstances, when that is your everyday, there has to be a psychological impact. I mean, it even affects reporters who cover these cases, death after death after death. I know it's affected me. And that does it for us tonight.